about discipline. And yes, because once I learned how to redefine my relationship to discipline, everything shifted. Hi, Natalia. Like everything shifted, and we're gonna have so much fun today talking about that and getting into conversation because I love talking about these things, and it's just gonna be a good time, okay? So please let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm on several different platforms, so please be patient with me as I make sure I get to everyone's comment because that's super important to me. I don't want anyone to feel left out, especially like my OGs in Insight Timer. So just leave your comment. I will definitely get to it. And, come with an open heart and open mind. I promise you, the way you're thinking about discipline will change completely by the end of this conversation. And I love that for us. Like, I'm so excited. Yes. I love your hair, discipline. So, yes, it's going to be so good. And thank you. I had to do a little something new. Okay, let me say hi, everybody. Susan, hi from Canada. Michelle, hi from Laurel Highlands region of Pennsylvania. Oh, I'm in Pennsylvania too. Victoria from Central Coast Cali. How are you feeling? How are you doing? Please let me know, Victoria. Lynn from Austin, Texas. Hi, Chris from Greenville, South Carolina. Hi, hi, hi. I'm so happy you're all with me. Um, yeah, I'm just making sure because sometimes when I split my screen, the comments come in a little slower. So bear with me, okay? And making sure you guys can actually see my face. Better? Okay, better. All right. Yes, we are talking about discipline today. And I want to just dive right in, okay? You're heading back to Jersey right now? I love that for you. Okay, so we're going to talk about discipline. Before we do, I just want to do a quick, grounding practice so that we're all on that same frequency together. So if you're able to, if it's safe for you to do this, please don't do it if you're like, moving a vehicle or something, use discernment. But if you're able to, I want you to either close your eyes if that feels safe for you, or just focus your attention inward and notice how your breath feels. Begin to witness the rhythm. Is it short and shallow? Are your inhales deeper, longer? Then take inventory of how your body feels. Do you feel relaxed? Maybe you feel a little tense in certain areas. Give yourself a moment just to connect back to your body. So often we are in our minds most of our day, and we forget that we have this entire vessel that is processing information, storing trauma, and helping us stay connected to the world that we live in. Let's take a collective inhale, breathing into that lower belly, expanding it as much as you can, taking that breath into the heart space, and then an open mouth exhale, release, okay? Deep inhale, breathing into lower belly, into the heart, open mouth exhale, release, let go. Beautiful. Deep inhale, breathing into the lower belly, expanding that breath to the lower back now, letting it rise up into the heart space. Open mouth, exhale, release. Letting go, softening the shoulders this time, maybe even softening the face if that feels good for you. Our last collective inhale together, breathing into the lower belly, expanding to the lower back, taking another breath into the heart space. Open mouth, exhale, release. And in this moment of stillness, we're just going to set an intention to come to this space with an open heart and open mind, to share the insights that come up for us so that we all can learn from each other, and to ask questions when need be, to have discernment on what it is that we share, making sure that we're not triggering other people, and ultimately having a good time being in community. If you found yourself here in this moment, whether you're live or watching the replay, you were meant to be here. So trust in that and see what this session will have for you, okay? And when you're ready, you can begin opening up your eyes, coming back to the space. You can let me know how you feel below. We will be doing EFT at the end of this session as well. So anytime that I'm on live for like my midweek class, we'll be doing EFT at the end. And our EFT will be based off of the topic of today's session, which is discipline. Okay. Okay. Hi, Bethany. Hi. See, Jack, yes. So if you're driving, I know not to close your eyes and stuff because that's dangerous, right? Yes, Kathy, the replay will be on YouTube. And then I'll have one also on Instagram as well. Okay. Hi, Grace. Hi, how are you? Okay, so defining discipline. I'm going to talk about the old version, the one that many of us are used to, and then I'm going to talk about the new way. It's not necessarily new in concept, it's probably just new to you, okay? So, first and foremost, the traditional definition. As in the dictionary, discipline means the practice of training people to obey rules or a code of behavior, often through punishment, right? Just take that in for a moment. Like, wow. This really invokes rigidity, right? There's a sense of guilt too, that's inherent in it, and a lot of shame, right? Because if you don't show up the way that you decided you were going to show up, then there's this feeling of punishment. And the punishment is something that we usually give to ourselves, right? By guilting ourselves, by shaming ourselves, by saying, like, oh, you're lazy, you procrastinate. I'm laughing because I'm listening to myself. I'm not laughing because it's funny, but it's funny to me because that's how I was with being disciplined. I was just like, oh, you didn't wake up at 8 a.m. the way you said you were going to, and now look at you. You have like this inner critic that's like on your ass when you're doing these things. And it's just insane that we think that from that level of connection, we're going to really birth anything good from that, Like, if that's what you have to show up to every single day, why would you show up to that every single day? Like, after a while, it will wear on you, right? After a while, it's going to overwhelm you. It's going to make sure that you are not feeling your best. And we don't want that, right? We're not looking to punish ourselves so that we can show up and share our creativity or share our passions with the world, or hold space as community leaders or educators. That's not the intention that we want to cultivate by it being a form of punishment. So I struggled with discipline in the sense that I am a very disciplined person in the old sense of the word and in the one that you're about to learn. Like, I'm super disciplined. It's in my chart. I'm a very disciplined person. If I say I'm going to do something, it's going to happen the way that I say so. But the way that I show up to it now is a lot more softer. There's a lot more care and compassion for myself and my humanity than it was before. So before, when I was younger, my mindset was like, nobody cares, work harder. That was like my life motto. Like, I did not, nobody cares, work harder. Nobody cares what you're going through. Nobody cares about your tragedies. Nobody, work harder, work up, work harder, and shut up. That really was the vibe. And it got me far in life. Let me be very clear. I did get results. I won all these awards and accolades. I was the top of my class, president here, founder here, all these things. But like, I was really a intense and scary person, like, I was terrifying. It wasn't great. And it wasn't healthy for my relationships. It made me add a lot of pressure to other people's lives and how they were showing up. I was very judgmental, looking at people like, wow, if you're not able to do this, then like, how can I trust you to do other things, right? It just made for a very unhealthy dynamic with myself and everyone around me. I'm not even talking about my dynamic with Source because I don't even think I was tapped in the way I needed to be because I wouldn't have been as rigid as I was. Um, Fast forward to, I had this conversation. I was in this prayer circle a couple years ago, and we had an elder, and she did I guess, a lecture for us in that prayer session. And she spoke about discipline in this new way, and it blew my mind. And I was just kind of like, to the point that after the prayer circle, I had to call her and be like, I need you to break down what you said because my mind, this was so revolutionary that like, I'm still stuck in that moment. I need you to help me get out of it. So here's what she said. She said, to be disciplined means to be a disciple. That's what it means, because the word is within it, right? Discipline, disciple. They go hand in hand. To be a disciple is a student, a follower, or one who studies deeply. Okay? She said that discipline is a practice of becoming a disciple of your higher self. And I was sitting here like what? What? Like my even now as I'm thinking about, I'm like, that blew my mind. To be a disciple of your highest self, to be a disciple of the God within you, the God that you connect to, whoever your God may be, whether it's God, universe, source, whatever, to be a disciple, to study that being, that entity, that energy within you. That is what it means to be disciplined. If you know me, you know that I'm a very self-study girl. I'm always talking about that. That's the only advice that I would ever give to somebody, is to study yourself and to study yourself well. Because the more you know about yourself, the more you can move in this world with the level of confidence and courage that you need to live a good life. If you do not know yourself, this is going to be a very horrible experience for you as a human being. You need to know your likes, your dislikes, what makes you feel good, what expands your curiosity. These things are important, right? When I look at discipline now as an opportunity for me to study myself, to study my highest self, it is so easy for me to show up to the things that I need to do. It's so easy for me to show up and to tap in, to share my insights, to share my magic, my genius with my communities. That's why I can host an hour and a half long session and then have back-to-back client one-on-ones and then go and teach publicly at a school, and I'm not exhausted by it because I've taken the time to be a disciple of myself. I know what's going to feed and nurture my spirit, what's going to help me feel well mentally, physically, emotionally, and it alleviates any of the, I want to say, like the red flags that can kind of come up when we are not attuned to who we are and what feels good. Let me know if that makes sense first, because if it doesn't, I want to break it down more, okay? Yes, I prefer devotion. I love that, Bethany. Last week, no, the week before last, we spoke about devotion, and it's really a beautiful conversation, so please make sure you check it out. Thank you for prompting and asking me. New to you. Hi, Victoria. First time live. I'm moving forward. Discipline. Need to hear this. And yes, I'm very hard on myself. Yeah, it's okay. Hopefully by the end, you'll be a little softer in your experience with discipline, okay? Yes, appreciate that. I guess it does make sense. Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. It makes sense. Great, 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 great. Okay. Whew, okay. This understanding of discipline now as a study of self, an opportunity for you to be a disciple of your highest self. Hi. Alleviates this need to have external control over outward variables that most times we really don't have control over, and to then shift that into having an internal curiosity about how you are aligning to things in your life. Do you see how that alleviates this unnecessary pressure that we are so used to associating to the word discipline, to the act of being disciplined? You see what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, there is nothing wrong with studying the self. There is nothing wrong with being disciplined. However, if you're going to look at it through the old definition of punishing yourself because you're not showing up in the way that other people have convinced you need to show up so that you can be creative, so that you can be an entrepreneur, so that you can be an educator, a community leader, whatever the case is, that is going to confine you. That is going to make you want to reject the idea, especially my indigo kids, my rainbow children, you know, the people that are tapped and tuned in, the empaths, the highly sensitive people. That is going to make you repel against discipline. But discipline is necessary, right? It may not have that same romance and seductiveness that devotion has. When you hear the word, you're like, ooh, devotion. Well, I want to learn more about that. You know, discipline kind of makes you feel like, ooh, no. Like, I don't want to be like I'm in, you know, the army, right? I don't want to feel like I'm a drill sergeant. And that's not what it was meant for. I think along the way as a collective, we've gotten to this place where we all have embraced the hustle and grind mindset. And it's very hard for us to let go of it because we've witnessed so many people have levels of success. And again, we don't really know how successful they've been. We just know that they've become public figures and they've used this to get out of, you know, physical circumstances that we can relate to. However, we don't really know how it's sitting with their soul, how it's affecting them mentally. And what you come to find out later on is that they have some type of, come to Jesus moment or spiritual awakening, and they realized that that hustle and grind was killing them, was siphoning their energy, destroying their relationships. And ultimately, they had to find a way back to harmony and grace, because we as beings are designed for harmony and grace. And within that scope of harmony and grace lives discipline, lives the ability to study yourself. It gives you permission to study yourself. It also completely destroys the notion of being selfish, right? It goes back into that philosophy that I teach about of being self first, unapologetically. Because if you are studying yourself first, if you understand yourself well, you're going to naturally attract places, people, and perspectives that align to who you inherently are. That means you'll feel safer in these spaces. That means you'll be able to show up and show all of who you are, which means that people are going to be able to receive more from you without you feeling burnt out, without you feeling like, you're around takers and people who don't care about you, because you'll know yourself enough to know that that's not the space for you. That's not the relationship for you. That's not the job for you. That's not the way you want to express your creativity. Okay? Let me know if that makes sense before I move forward. Yes, yes, yes. Love it. Discipline in alignment with higher self instead of external authority of some sort. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Are we good? If we're good, show some heart to something so I just know. I don't want to move too fast and you guys are like, wait, I'm trying to tap in. Okay. Hi, everybody that's jumping on. Hello, hello, hello. Making sure I say hi to everybody. Okay. Hello, your nails are gorgeous. Thank you so much, Brandon. God did his thing when he made you. I think so too. Thank you guys. That's so sweet. Okay. I used to be very disciplined, self-judgmental, all or nothing. Bethany's same. Younger Lotus was intense. I have a lot of love for her because she got me to where I am now. I don't have a disdain for my younger versions of myself at all. Given what I was going through and the tools that I had, it actually made a lot of sense, Am I a lot softer now? Yes, but I'm right there with you, Bethany. It led me down a dangerous path of measuring my worth by my productivity. Same. That was another layer of work in breaking down my false beliefs when I became disabled. Finally, my sense of worth is intrinsic, and discipline has been redefined as a softer commitment to being devoted to myself. Agreed, Bethany. That was so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, yes, yeah. Same. I had to have that. And for me, it was being diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis and lupus, and then having the bipolar 2 diagnosis, and I had to study myself. I had no choice, Life is always going to help you get back on track, even though you're never off track, but you think you're off track. It reminds you that you're always where you need to be. Having those diagnoses, most people look at them and be like, wow, that's so unfortunate for you. These are horrible things that you've been diagnosed with. And I don't look at it that way. Because of those diagnoses, I had to focus back in on myself. It gave me the permission that I was desperately craving to study myself again. It was almost like a scapegoat, if you will, of I have to study myself, I have to study my eating habits, how I'm moving, what feels good for me mentally, because these diagnoses, if I don't, it's just going to get worse, right? And I do think for myself and my own personal experience, I cannot speak for others, I feel like I aligned to those diagnoses because I needed the opportunity to slow down, and I was not going to give it to myself. So my body gave it to me, right? I always talk about the fact that if you do not tune into your body, eventually your body will shut it down. Because its job is to keep you alive and tethered to the world, right? To be an antenna, to be an anchor for your spirit to be connected so that you can interact with other human beings. But if you are not taking care of your body, if you are disregarding it, treating it like it's a machine, eventually it will find a way to slow you down, especially if you are someone who has a calling on their heart. If you are someone who is meant to share wisdom and magic with the world. For me, that's how it happened. And it allowed me to get into a space of studying myself and then having that conversation with my elder and learning that it was an opportunity for me to dive in and study my highest self. Not just the parts of me that felt broken or unhinged, but the parts of me that were divine, that were ancient, that were infinite. Okay? Okay. Yeah, Younger Lotus went through it. That's a thug for sure. Like that she's a thug through and through. Those bumps in the road are actually guardrails to get you back to yourself, even if it looks different to us. Exactly, Bethany. Funny you mentioned scapegoats, something I've been looking at in society lately. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, so the next thing that I want to mention is that enthusiasm plus discipline equals a new way of life. And I'm going to explain why. So, you guys know that I'm always journeying through The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. With the Insight Timer group, it's almost like an ongoing joke at this point, but like, I've been with this book for like 2 years and I'm on week 9. Just take your time with the books that are going to unravel you, that are going to redefine you. That's just a separate statement. Don't be so hard on yourself. But in week 9, Julia talks about the word enthusiasm and how it comes from the Greek and it stands for filled with God. Enthusiasm means filled with God. So right there, I was sitting there like, I know this lady's about to say something that's about to blow my mind. It is a divine energy source grounded in joy and play, not in duty or obligation. Okay? Enthusiasm, to be enthusiastic, means to be filled with God to the point that you want to share that with others. God, source, energy, love, whoever you call on to. Do not get tripped up on the word. Whatever connects to you, I want you to plug that in always, no matter when we're having a conversation. Okay? Julia Cameron's quote from the book that I really enjoyed was, far from being a brain numb soldier, our artist is actually our inner child, our inner playmate. And with all playmates, it is joy, not duty, that makes for a lasting bond. And that's why she talks about the importance of enthusiasm and applying it to discipline. Because if you're applying enthusiasm, right, you being filled with God to discipline, it will redefine discipline to it being a study of the highest self. Does that make sense? It's almost like the word alchemizes and transmutes the negative connotations in the word discipline that we are associated with, right? Which is being judgmental, which is being rigid, which is not being caring to yourself, which is like do it even if you're in immense pain. Like all of those things are dangerous to your mind, body, and spirit's well-being. But if you are showing up first with the level of enthusiasm, being filled with source, and then using discipline as the vehicle to study yourself, study the self that's filled with source, do you see how that changes the way you would show up in your communities, how you would show up to the work that you do, how you would show up to the relationships that you're in? Does that, like, do you see where you would be coming from, right? So, enthusiasm, being filled with God, plus discipline, studying yourself as you are filled with God, equals a joyful, intuitive practice of showing up. This allows you to reclaim discipline as a sacred act and allows you to stay in alignment, right? The goal is never just to be in flow 24/7 because that's a form of perfectionism. And I think a lot of people are striving for that in wellness, and that's not an attainable goal. It's not a goal you want. You want to also be able to ebb because it allows you to really cultivate a sense of gratitude and resiliency when you're ebbing. You need both, right? However, you want to be able to raise your baseline. And we've talked about this in previous classes and sessions. Sometimes our baselines are really, really low, where we're very cynical, right? We think the worst. We're super judgmental. That might be your baseline. We're all born at different baselines based off our experience and how we were nurtured, our nature when we were younger, right? And plenty of us just internalize it and we don't question what is. We don't even know that's a thing that we can do until we get older and we have conversations with other people, right? So if your baseline is down there and you're ebbing and flowing, do you see how crazy that would be? You're probably ebbing more than you're flowing. And when you're flowing, you probably don't even know what's going on because you're using that energy to run and go and be productive and do things and be competitive and try to get one up on somebody before you go back to ebbing. So the intention is, if we are using enthusiasm and discipline, we are raising up our baseline. So maybe our baseline is that we're just feeling peaceful most of the time. Actually, I'm just a joyful person. So when I'm ebbing, I now am not feeling like I'm deep in the gutter, but I'm ebbing right below the baseline of joy. So, I may not be like super happy today, but I have an appreciation for what's going on in life, right? And then when I'm in flow, maybe I'm in bliss, you know? Maybe I'm just so overflowing with love that I want to give it to others. Does that make sense? When we use that formula, it helps us to raise our baseline so that we can be inherently joyful people no matter what we're experiencing, because tragedies are going to continue to happen in life, whether they're personal or collective. Those don't go away. That's why when people are like, these are unprecedented times, I'm like, every time is unprecedented. Like, if you go back to any decade, it was crazy. Like, it was pure chaos. And that's just collectively speaking. If you speak to other people, my 20s were crazy. When I was in 10 years old, it was a wild time. Teenagehood was crazy. The only part of my life that felt decent was my childhood, because I don't really have deep recollections of that. But every decade is going to provide you with a sense of tragedy. But if your baseline is here in a space of joy or peacefulness, you're going to be able to feel well equipped to handle whatever tragedies come up. They're not going to be a blow to you the way that they may have been in a previous decade, in a previous life. Let me know if that makes sense before I move forward. Okay? Hi, Rachel. No, I do not have heart steps, but I will look it up. Thank you for sharing that with me. Yeah, I've been reading The Artist's Way for over a year now. Rachel, you're not alone. You're not alone. Yes, it makes sense. Okay. Courtney, hi. How are you? Oh, I'm so happy you're here. Yes, my baseline can be in hell at times. Yeah, same. I used to always say that I had a very high tolerance for pain. And I've come to realize that my high tolerance for pain meant that my baseline was in the gutter. It was really bad. Now I feel like I have a higher baseline, and my tolerance for pain is not that high. I am very much a ow, like, ooh, that hurt my feelings, and I can acknowledge that. But I'm okay with that shifting, because ultimately the majority of the time I'm a very happy and satisfied person. Even if that means that I get my feelings hurt a bit more because I'm more aware of how things affect me. I'd much rather that than be somebody that has an extremely high tolerance of pain, and I don't know when somebody's being disrespectful. I don't know when I'm in an unsafe environment. I don't know when it's time for me to leave, when I'm unwanted, when I'm not valued, because my pain tolerance is so exceedingly high that I ignore all of these red flags. Okay? Okay. Thus, I thought of you when I heard this. It was profoundly beautiful and synchronized with the conversation you and I had on here a few months back. It's called The Body You Inhabit by IT teacher Vicky Wolf. Oh, yay, okay. I think it'll resonate. It made me very emotional and grateful. Thank you so much. Bethany, can you also DM that to me? Because I'm not going to be able to get the link, unfortunately, once the class is done. You're okay? Okay, good, Courtney. That's good. Take out the spaces. Yes. It does make sense. Okay, beautiful. Heart steps is prayer and declaration. So beautiful. I'm gonna check that one out. Vita, hello. How are you? You are so missed. Oh, thank you so much. That's me. It's frustrating when I can see the red flag miles away and folks can't. Yeah. Right? And that comes with the human experience. So just keep that in mind. Okay? So I really wanted us to have that conversation, because I'm hoping that when you move forward now, you're looking at discipline as the ability and the opportunity to study your highest self, to do so with a sense of enthusiasm so that you can be filled with God. Can you imagine what that would look like when you're moving throughout your day? Now, when I am doing things that pertain to me and my personal business, and you guys know how I feel about the word business, but now I'm showing up like, oh, it's an opportunity for me to explore, to get curious about how I'm being filled with God and how that is affecting my outlook on life, how that's affecting me spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, and to see what aligns and maybe what I need to still heal through, what trauma might be blocking or distorting for me. And it doesn't make it such a scary experience anymore. Instead, I'm thoroughly so excited to show up in spaces and share whatever I want to share, however I want to share it, without feeling guilty, without feeling the need to like give more than I need to give. I get to be even more authentic. And I still have this level of detachment to where I don't necessarily even care how it's received, because I'm showing up from a place of God within me. So it'll either be well received or it won't. It'll resonate with people or it won't. But it's not going to deeply affect me to where I am so conscious and worried about how people are perceiving me. If people will understand me, I'm very much either you understand me or you don't. And I feel no way about either. If you understand me, that's great. Let's have a deeper conversation about it because, yay, we could key. If you don't understand me, that's cool. There are other practitioners and teachers and thought leaders that you can tap into that'll resonate with who you are and where you're at. I just may not be for you, but I don't have to take that to heart. There's freedom and liberation in that. There is the permission to rest and to show up as you can, when you can, within that. And I want us to all begin exploring how we can have more of that in our lives. Okay? High sounds of pain, not so noble as I thought. No, it's not. It's really harmful to yourself to have a high tolerance of pain. Like, it's harmful to the spirit. Okay? Yes, Justice Venazia. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Courtney. Victoria, yeah, society uses that on folks to control. Exactly. Yes, my pain suffers through other people's stories and learning my safe space. I used to worry about people understanding me and liking me. Now, you don't like me, that's fine. I have a little time for pain. Yeah, like, you don't like me, it's cool. Like, I'm not going to feel no way. Like, I'm not going to start questioning myself of like, oh my God, Lotus, you're a bad person. Like, I know myself really well. And I know that there are going to be some days where I am really in divine flow and I'm showing up as this like ethereal, like fairy-like woman. Because sometimes when you meet me and I'm in that alignment, it feels very magical. And sometimes I'm showing up as a human being. Like, life is crazy. And I don't feel either way about that. It just gives you permission to be all of your human self and all of your divine self as well. And we all need that because trying to live in one space or the other is just unhealthy. It's dangerous. You want to honor that duality of who you are because it allows you to share all of yourself in any space that you're in. We need that. We need more of that. So hopefully this redefinition of discipline as the study of self, the study of your highest self, and then enthusiasm being filled with God, putting those together so that you can reclaim how you're showing up in whatever title you hold will really benefit you moving forward. All right? We're about to get into the EFT session of this moment. Let's tell you hi. Hello. So what we're going to do is I am going to give you guys a moment to make sure you have some water, okay? And get comfortable, okay? Because we're going to tap on redefining discipline, our relationship to discipline, excuse me. So we've already talked about it. We understand it mentally, right? Intellectually, but now we're going to integrate into the body. So if there's any traumas, if there's any blocks or resistance that are towards this redefinition, we can use EFT to sort through that, to either learn to accept the traumas that we're facing or transmute them and make peace with them so that we can move forward embracing discipline in our lives so we can show up in the spaces that we need to, okay? But before we do that, I am going to run to the bathroom because I drank a lot of water, a lot of fresh pressed juice, and I don't believe in being in discomfort for too long physically because it's just not good for the bladder, okay? So I'm going to put on some musica, and we're going to take a quick moment, okay? Alexa, can you play Spotify?
All right, here's Spotify.
Alexa, play Spotify.
Okay, here's Spotify.
1 second. Thank y'all. Here we go. Be back. Looking at you, I'm wondering who. If I
into the shadow, now I notice the light. Magic is real when you see it inside you decide. It's like a snake shedding skin, creating life to begin when all you knew is vanished again, transcending virtue is Layers of all things, more beauty is a symptom of life. Gotta decide if I'm gonna see it right. Feast our eyes on all the things when suffering is great in the light. Gotta decide how we're gonna heal it right. Feast my eyes on all the things, more beauty is a symptom of life. Gotta decide if I'm gonna see it right. Feast our eyes on all the things when suffering is great in the light. Gotta decide how we're gonna heal it right. Yeah, gotta decide how we're gonna feel it out. Trying to find out.
Okay, I'm back. We did it. Alexa, pause. All right. Now, hopefully you got your water and you're ready for EFT. Okay? If you're not, get ready because we're about to tap. Okay, we're going to do 3 rounds today, and it's on redefining discipline. The first round is going to be a negative round, and we're going to be releasing negative beliefs around discipline. The second round is going to be embracing discipline as self-study. The third round is going to be anchoring enthusiasm and joy, okay? So what we do for EFT, for those that don't know, if you've never tapped with me before, it's like a new concept for you. Let me just break it down really quickly. EFT means emotional freedom techniques, and it's the beautiful ability and healing modality, somatic practice, where you're tapping on points on the body, communicating to the body that what you're talking about needs to either be brought to the forefront so that it could be transmuted or accepted, or you're going to be plugging in positive statements, positive reinforcements to help you move forward. And that just depends on the theme of the round. So, like I said, we have one negative round. That's when we'll be saying to ourselves, okay, if I've ever said anything like this or felt this way, I've heard someone say this and internalized it, bring it to the forefront because it's no longer serving me. Then the 2 positive rounds, we'll be able to take that clear space that we just made in a negative round and plug in things that are going to actually help us to function in alignment. Okay? There's one thing in being in alignment and being able to function in alignment. You want to be able to function in alignment because it is pretty easy to get into alignment. People don't realize that. Okay? So, what I normally do is I have you guys tune, and we'll do that in a second. But before we do, we're going to do 9 tapping points today. It's the side of hand, top of head, brow, which is the starting point of your brow, side of eye. You would trace that brow bone to your ocular bone on the side of the tap here. Underneath the eye, same ocular bone, tap there. Under the nose, above the top lip, in the crease of your chin. Feel your collarbone. You can either link your thumbs together, and wherever your fingertips fall, that's where your collarbone points are. Or you can just feel for the fleshy part under your collarbone, whatever feels good for you. Then under the arms, at the end of your armpit, you'll feel the beginning parts of your rib cage on the side. Or if you wear a bra, it would be where your bra is. Those are the 9 points. You don't have to remember them at all. You just have to watch me and tap along, okay? And when we're tapping, you don't have to tap really hard. You can just lightly tap. You can use 1 finger, 2 fingers, all the fingers, it doesn't matter. If you are someone who's highly sensitive or if you're differently abled, I'm going to share some other ways for you to tap so that you don't get overwhelmed by the experience. Because we're tapping, we're also tapping into the fact that we are electric, right? We're electromagnetic. So sometimes that can feel like an on switch for us, which can feel overwhelming. So if you know you're a highly sensitive person, I want you to try these alternative ways, okay? So traditionally, we're tapping. If you don't want to tap, you can pulse, keeping the hand to the body. You can rub, which is very soothing. You can hover, not even touching the body at all. We're tapping into our energy highways. They're called meridians. They run through the body and around the body, creating our aura. So even if you're not touching the body, you're still tapping into that energetic highway, okay? If you can't do any of those or you can't reach a certain spot, you can think about tapping in that space. It does require more intention, but it is possible and you can still get the same benefits from it. Tapping might cause you to yawn, belch, sneeze, tear up. You might feel tired or more energized afterwards. It's just the body saying that energy is moving. As we're tapping, we're connecting our energetic pathways, clearing out any blocks that might be on them so that our energy can flow the way that it needs to. It'll show up however it needs to. Trust the process, allow it to happen. If you notice that nothing happens physically, it could just be that you need to tap in a bit more. You might be a little bit more disassociated from your body than you realize. And that's totally normal, especially in the world that we live in. Okay? Now, tuning. When we are tuning, we're going to be using a scale of -10 being the worst you've ever felt, -10 being the worst you've ever felt, 0 being I don't feel good, but I also don't feel bad, like I feel neutral, and then +10 being the absolute best you've ever felt. I want you to sit with that scale, -10 being the worst, 0 being neutral, +10 being I feel amazing, and whatever number comes up for you intuitively, drop it in the chat or write it down. This is important because EFT is a subtle art. So a lot of times when you're tapping, you can think nothing is happening, but you'll start to see your numbers sway and you'll notice what is affecting you and what is not affecting you. And that's just great for self-studying, for being disciplined, okay? So again, -10 being the worst you've ever felt, 0 being neutral, I don't feel good, I don't feel bad, +10, I feel amazing. Drop your number in the chat or write it down next to you, but please make sure you document it, okay? Beautiful. As you guys are doing that, I'm just gonna go over any of the comments that I might have missed, okay? Once you learn your comfortability and stressing over things you can't control, navigating will be easier. Yes, I agree, Courtney. That's why working in this capitalistic matrix is such a battle for me. It's like I just can't be myself. Take your time, Rachel. It's a journey, right? But when you start to get there, you'll be able to compound the experience. All right. After we start my tablet and send you the link. Thank you, thank you. Rachel, girl, you got this. You're going to be amazing, whatever hurdles you may have. Rachel, great that you're exploring your own interests this year. Yes, 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 yes. Be yourself, girl. Be comfortable as you are. If they can't accept it or understand it, that's something they have to deal with and sleep better knowing you remained you in your skin. Agreed, Courtney. That was beautiful insight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi, Tiffany. Welcome from Georgia. It's been very helpful learning EFT and practicing with you. I'm so happy, Bethany. That feels really good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank y'all for dropping the numbers in the chat. Thank you, Sebi. How are you? Thank you, thank you. Year of the snake next week. I know, I know. Me and my little snake tattoo are very happy. Yes. Okay, perfect. We've dropped our numbers in the chat. You can feel free to do it on the other platforms as well. Okay. I'm just going to say hi to everybody. Hi, everybody. Okay, okay, okay. Beautiful. Hello, hello, hello. And then let's tap. Now that we've dropped it, I'm going to say that my number right now is 5. I'm going to put it here for y'all too. Okay. There we go. Let's start. I'm always so happy to tap with y'all. It really brings me so much joy. Oh, snap. 1 second, y'all. I completely forgot to grab this part, and I need it. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Number 1. Sleight of hand. We're going to lightly tap here. Tap, pulse, rub, or hover, whatever feels best for you. Okay? Make sure you guys can still see me. Deep inhale, breathing in. Slow exhale, letting go. Softening the shoulders. Repeat after me. We're going to do 3 times in this position, okay? Even though discipline has felt rigid and punishing, I deeply honor myself and my journey. I'm going to repeat it again. Even though discipline has felt rigid and punishing, I deeply honor myself and my journey. Even though discipline has felt rigid and punishing, I deeply honor myself and my journey. All right, we're going to go to the top of the head. Tap here. I've seen discipline as something harsh, unforgiving, unkind. Brow. I've believed I needed to perform or obey to be worthy. Side of eye. This belief has made me feel disconnected from myself, from source, my genius, my community. Under the eye. I've judged myself. I've criticized myself. I've bullied myself for not being disciplined enough. Under the nose. I've associated discipline with guilt, shame, underperforming, not being productive. Chin. I've been holding onto this outdated view of discipline. I'm going to go to the collarbone. This belief has made me feel stuck, unworthy, unable to feel safe in sharing my passions, my purpose. Under the arm, tap here. And I want to release. I want to release these negative thoughts and feelings, these negative beliefs about discipline right now. It no longer has a home within my body and mind. I want you to drop your hands by your side now. Take a nice deep inhale, breathing in. Slow exhale, letting go. Softening the shoulders, relaxing into the body, and begin thinking of that tuning scale again. -10 being the worst you've ever felt, 0 being I don't feel bad, but I also don't feel good, and then +10 being the best you've ever felt, and drop your second number in the chat. And drink some water in between, because water helps us process our emotions so that we don't get overwhelmed, okay? And I am gonna put my number here and here for you. Here we go. Perfect. Seeing your numbers drop in, drop in. Yes, tap, tap, tap in. Thank you so much, Tiffany. I appreciate that so much. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I'm seeing your numbers. I'm seeing your numbers. It's also okay if you have lower numbers or negative numbers. I don't want you to judge yourself. It's just simply your body communicating to you like, hey, this topic is a little heavy for us. You know, we've definitely said these things. We've definitely resonated with these concepts. And that's okay, right? That's a beautiful part about EFT is that during the positive rounds, you'll get to redefine that relationship to the theme. And you'll notice that your number might get higher. If it doesn't, then what I would suggest is watching the replay again and continuously tapping. If we were doing a one-on-one session, we would continue tapping until your number got higher. But since this is a collective class, what I would suggest is to watch the replay. Normally, by our second positive round, your number does increase because there's a collective energy that we're all tapped into. However, if that does not happen, come back to the replay and tap again, or use any of my other audios to tap until you feel better, okay? My goal is for you to feel better when you leave me, all right? Okay, beautiful. Okay, perfect. Now, let's get into round 2, embracing discipline as self-study. And then we're going to get from round 2 to round 3. We're going to do both back to back. Okay? All right. Deep inhale, exhale. Repeat after me. Use your voice. Your voice is medicine, okay? Even though I'm learning a new way to see discipline, I honor where I am and who I am now. Top of the head. I choose to see discipline as a loving act of self-study. Brow. I am a disciple of my highest self. That feels really good to say. Side of eye. Discipline is now a practice of knowing and honoring myself deeply, unapologetically. Under the eye, tap here. Beautiful. I study my rhythms, desires, genius, and passions with curiosity. Under the nose. I give myself permission to redefine my relationship and understanding of discipline. Chin. Discipline is now rooted in joy and alignment. Collarbone. I move towards what feels good, knowing that it is enough and I am more than enough. Under the arm. I trust myself to show up in ways that honor my highest self, my connection to source, my genius and creativity. Okay, we're gonna go to side of hand, tap here. Even though I'm still learning this practice, I trust my growth and I trust my intuition. Top of the head. I approach discipline with enthusiasm and joy, with the understanding that enthusiasm means to be filled with God. Source, whatever you call it. Brow. My discipline is an act of love and self-exploration. Side of eye. I honor myself in every choice I make, first and foremost. Under the eye. Discipline is my way of showing up for my dreams. I'm going to say that one again because that was really nice. Discipline is my way of showing up for my dreams. Under the nose. My enthusiasm and curiosity will guide my daily practices. Calm chin. I feel aligned. I feel supported. And I feel inspired by my discipline. Collarbone. I am a disciple of my higher self. And it feels so, so good. Under the arm, tap here. I embrace, excuse me, one more time. I embrace this joyful and aligned path with ease, with peace. I want you to place your hands over your heart space. You can close your eyes if that feels good, or just soften your gaze inward. Take a nice deep inhale, breathing into the heart. Slow exhale, let it go. See if you can feel your heartbeat. Notice the warmth of your body. You may notice that you're swaying, or that you're rocking, or that you have this natural smile on your face. Maybe you feel a bit lighter. Continue to take deep, nourishing inhales in through the nose, out through the mouth. And just sit in this energy for a moment. Within the span of 60 minutes, you have redefined discipline in your life. You've accepted an invitation to look at life differently in a way that feels more easeful, has more adventure, and ultimately will be more beneficial for you. And then you integrated that knowingness into the body, relieving any traumas that may have been stored there around the topic, accepting any tragedies or stories that might be around that topic, the topic of discipline. Trusting in your body's ability to transmute, trusting in your ability to tap into your divine self and find a space of harmony within your humanity. Deep inhale, breathing in through the nose, slow exhale out the mouth, softening the shoulders, softening the face. As you move forward from the session, I pray that you get more intimate with your relationship to discipline, that you're able to lean into it more, that you feel courageous enough to explore the depths of who you are in darkness and in light, and that you are willing to express the fullness of yourself, knowing that what you give to the world will be beautiful. As you're moving from that space of discipline, from that space of enthusiasm, of being filled with source, God, love, bliss, whatever you want to call on, and allowing that to radiate from you, to hold and embrace you as it inspires others to do the same for themselves, keeping you at the center of your world, at the center of your life, because that is what you're designed to do. And to feel unapologetic in doing so, knowing that if you are at the center of your own life and you are taking really good care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, and all the levels of self, that you will get to a place of overflow. It will spill out of you. And what comes from that is beautiful. And it's nourishment for those that you love and people you will encounter that you don't even know. And that is true beauty, the expression of God's love. And we all deserve that. Deep inhale, breathing into the lower belly now, into the heart. And on that exhale, bring a smile to your face, dropping your hands into your lap, coming back to this present moment. And then using, hi Marvin, and then using your tuning scale, -10 being I don't feel great, 0 being I feel neutral, I don't feel bad, I don't feel good, and then +10 being I feel absolutely amazing, okay? And dropping that number into the chat for your final closing act of this EFT session. And let me know how you feel below. Let me know how that tapping experience was for you. If you have any takeaways, I'm going to be leaving the official class notes for today's session on my Substack, which is called The Dark Divines. The link will be in my stories. Um, the link is in my Insight Timer bio as a teacher. Okay. And within the official notes, you'll also learn about how to reflect and imagine and to use practical integration for discipline as we know it now. Okay. So that's what I'll be doing moving forward. The official notes will be there on Substack, along with other cool things that I'll be adding to the platform when I feel led to. Okay. But please let me know how you're feeling. So much better. Yay! I have to run. Thank you, Lotus. You are loved. Bethany, thank you for being here. I feel a little lighter. I'm so happy to hear that, Courtney. That's amazing. Okay. Yes, I'm hoping you all feel really good. I'm going to say hi to some people that just hopped on. And I do not think I'm hosting a gathering, excuse me, next week. Hi, Kiki. Kiki, are you ready? Sorry, I get so excited when I see Kiana. Yes, this is very, very yummy. I was literally thinking about you in my head. I'm gonna voice note you. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes, this is a donation-based practice. Thank you, Insight Timer Gang. I love y'all. I literally always forget, and that is something that I'm working on. I talked about that in my previous audio email, so please check that out too. It's on Substack. Yes, this is a donation-based practice. This helps me to pay bills and all that great stuff. So if something resonated with you today, if it felt really good, you can leave a donation via Insight Timer, or in my emails, I'll add other ways for you to leave a donation. Or you can leave a donation with my Buy Me a Matcha link that I'll put in my stories after this live is saved, okay? Michelle, thank you so much for your donation. Jack, thank you for your donation. Michelle, really wonderful. So glad I found us this morning. Michelle, I'm happy you're here with us. Is it Arena? From -1 to 3, get great closing message. Cinched it. Yes, yay, I'm so happy. Mahalo, Victoria. I feel a lot lighter and centered. I'm so happy, Chris. That's beautiful. Lo, I feel you really lit up today. Almost like Curacao. It's so funny because I am wearing the pants that I wore in the Curacao session too, which is so funny. I'll revisit later, but it was helpful in the space, Rachel. I'm so happy. It'll be available on YouTube and on Instagram, okay? So, and the link will be plugged into Substack as well. Yes, thank you, Arena, for your donation. I appreciate that. Lynn, thank you for your donation. These all help me to continue showing up in this space. And yes, I hope you have a really great week. If I'm not on next week, then I'll see you in February. I'll probably host between 2 and 3 live sessions a month, but I am consistently sharing my entire world and ethos on Substack. So, if you're into that, you can read, you can listen along. I'll begin putting up some archive classes on there too. That's what I've been working on. So that's my space that I'm at. I just wanted to share this here because I know a lot of people are on these platforms, and it's just nice to kind of come together every once in a while and just connect and have a heart to heart with one another. Okay, I love you all so much. I know the Curacao pants. I think that's what I'm going to call them from now on. I love you so much. Thank you for joining in. Please make sure that you subscribe, you share this video. You invite someone to join my email list. This all just helps me as a creator, as a business owner, as a practitioner, as a reverend, to just get the message out to whoever may need it. So, however you choose to show up and show your gratitude, I'm very grateful that you did it either way. Okay. And I will see you all somewhere soon. All right. You're so loved. Bye. There we go.